All right, hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. That is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. And before we get started, Jake, I have some business to do.
What's it?
My wife, quote, air quotes. People watching can see me doing air quotes. People listening cannot see me doing air quotes. But
He's doing them. I can vouch for him.
Yes, bunny ears. My wife, quote, yelled at me this morning. She said, "Hey, how many people listen to your podcast?" I said, "Well, I don't keep track of the numbers, but..." And she said, "You only have 5 reviews on Apple Podcasts. Reviews drive the podcast." So I looked this morning, and I didn't do too much digging, but just across Spotify and SoundCloud, we have over 100,000 streams.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so people have listened. So just a quick upfront begging, and then we will move on with our podcast. If you happen to listen to it, whatever platform you listen to us on, please drop us a review. My wife has been studying, marketing, and said reviews really drive podcasts. You have a lot of people that listen to you. Ask them to review you. So that's what we're doing up front. Just please, if you enjoy us,
Give us a review.
if it's a positive one. If you listen to us and hate us, then go review someone else's podcast and leave all your negative comments about us on a random podcast that like go give Alex Jones 1 star. If you hate us, go review Alex Jones and give him 1 star.
1 star. I agree with all of his views, but his voice was too raspy and deep.
All right. That out of the way. Maybe we'll say that at the end from now on, so you don't have to hear it up front. But hope we didn't lose you just by putting the commercial up front. But she was like, "You need reviews." All right, Jake, let's jump right in. I think this is possibly the funniest story of the week. We spent too much time talking about it last week. We will only touch on it. Trump indicted, gonna go to trial, not gonna go to prison because he's Trump. But this headline said, Trump's Secret Service agents would accompany him if he went to jail, says retired U.S. judge. First of all, 2 thoughts. 1, that would suck to be a Secret Service agent. If that's your detail, you have to go to jail. But 2, since the overriding premise of jail is go up to the guy that's biggest and punch him in the face so that you can be the jail boss. Imagine being Trump in jail. First of all, you're Trump, and then you got Secret Service agents. You don't even need the guards. You have your own personal guards.
I mean, I just assume they wouldn't be there, but then again, I guess it doesn't.
I gotta close this door. Keep talking.
Get him. I mean, I guess you can't really just let a former president go to jail and then have to, he comes out covered in teardrops and face tats like, "I had to join the Latin Kings. I had to do it for protection. Otherwise I'd be somebody's bitch. And I'm nobody's bitch. I have the bitches."
He's nobody's bitch. He will have the Secret Service when he doesn't go to jail. But if he did, which he's not going to, he would have his own gang going in. He would not need to join a gang. He would have his own paid for personal private gang of Secret Service agents.
But would they be big enough? Because I've seen the show Oz. There's small gangs and there's big gangs, see? And I can't imagine that he's got like 24 guys in there at all times. It'd probably be a few guys, and then they would have to join the Aryan Brotherhood of the Latin Kings or whatever with him. And then like the Secret Service guys, they have the suits and everything, and they're just kind of standing there and they got the thing in their ear. But they also got like crazy Tekashi shit, 6ix9ine shit all over. They got MS-13 on their face.
Right. I'm sure there would be negotiations where it's all right, you can have 2 Secret Service agents. Fine. They have to be armed. No guns in the jail. Fine. Then we need 20 Secret Service agents. Like, there's going to be a back and forth, like, to what they can carry and how many they need. But just amusing, the idea then, again, but going back to the other part of it, that's your detail. Hey, you made it to the Secret Service. Awesome. Who am I covering? Trump, but he's in jail. Yep. Guess what? Top or bottom bunk?
I've got Trump brand ramen noodles, the greatest ramen noodles that any president has seen. Just talk to my Secret Service agent, give him 2 packs of Newports.
All right, I want to tie 2 stories together that I sent you. Story number 1 is Kid Rock shoots cases of Bud Light in response to transgender activists' post. It was all the rage last week. Bud Light sent a transgender, I always get it wrong, I believe man transitioning to woman, so transgender woman, a case of Bud Light saying, hey, congratulations on whatever it is you do. We support the transgender community. Well, dumb people lost their fucking minds and threw away Bud Light, protest, boycott, all that. And at the same time, I think we talked about this. Iowa signed into law a new transgender bathroom thing designed to protect kids. Arkansas did the same thing. Actually, with Arkansas, I called Sarah Huckabee Jabba the Huckabee, and people seem to like that. Either way, so at the same time, trans issues are going on and saying that trans people shouldn't be in bathrooms and stuff. Video of women in a men's bathroom at Taylor Swift's concert at AT&T Stadium has gone viral, and apparently they say that at every stadium, the Taylor Swift concerts are 70-80% women, 20% men, and this is happening at every stadium. And Jake, I know we've talked about this in the past. One of my first memories from childhood is the first time I went to a Cubs game, and at Wrigley Field, it was all the men lined up at the troughs peeing and all the women in the stalls. Women just went into the men's bathroom to pee because there weren't enough stalls in the women's room. I just think this whole idea, the idea that guys are pissed off because Budweiser gave someone trans beer and now they're boycotting and trans bathrooms are just, I know I just threw a mess at you, but what are your thoughts?
I think Trump should have a beer now. I think if fuck selling NFTs, he should get Trump beer.
Like Billy beer with Billy Carter back in the day.
That's right. Golden like my long, luxurious hair. Trump beer.
Oh, golden beer. So it'd be like a lager, like a regular beer, like a Budweiser, a Coors. And then it wouldn't have to sponsor anybody except rednecks. It could be, he could give a case of beer to Kid Rock, who would drink it instead of shooting it.
Kid Rock could drink the Trump beer while he shoots other beers that have advertisements that he doesn't like.
The funniest thing to me about the boycott is Anheuser-Busch is a corporation. And what do corporations do before they do anything? Market research.
Well, right.
They do not just like, hey, we're going to support Pride Month this June. They research the fuck out of everything. And when they say which way the wind is blowing, then they go, all right, we think that this will be most profitable for us in the long run. Yes, it's going to stir up some. They look at the market of people who are okay with transgender people, and they look at the market of, Kid Rock rednecks, and they're like, well, they're going to be really loud and vocal, and they're going to be angry with us. But over time, and so then they make their move, and everybody that's going to be stupid about it is stupid about it, screaming and boycotting and making TikToks of them throwing their beer away. It's going to kill Anheuser-Busch exactly the same way trans bathrooms killed Target, the same way Starbucks goes out of business every year when they boycott it because of holiday cups. It's like, these corporations are not stupid. They know what they're doing.
They're not the first corporation to put like rainbow stuff on their things, especially in June, because that's Pride Month. There's rainbow stuffs everywhere. So you're just noticing this shit now? Have you been living under a rock since the fucking Ball with the Ball came out? You never saw a company put a rainbow. Also, it's 2023. It takes like no balls for a corporation to be pro-gay. If anything, it takes balls to go the other way. Budweiser. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Like that would be a ballsy fucking commercial right now. Like that would be like, holy shit. Like people would really, you should see what people would do with beer cans then. Oh my God, it would be insane. But that's the thing, is it's 2023. So I don't think it's so much that Budweiser is pro-queer, as Kid Rock would say. I think they're pro-selling beer. So if they were really pro-gay, they would have had rainbow stuff on the cans back in the 80s, back when they would have been doing it like, hey, it sucks that Ronald Reagan's not doing anything to fight AIDS. We at Budweiser are. Here's a rainbow flag. Nah, you waited till 2023. I think you had a pretty good following in fucking 1983. What the hell happened then? Oh, you licked your finger, tested the winds, and saw the winds weren't blowing that way? So you're not really pro-gay. See, they're corporations. The same corporations that took shoes away from Kanye for anti-Semitism gave shoes to Hitler. You understand? If Budweiser was in Germany 80 years ago, it would be a red and black flag instead of a rainbow one. So they don't stand for anything. They stand for
green.
Money.
They stand for green.
Yeah. If I don't know, Ron DeSantis or one of these guys takes over and turns it into some kind of weird Handmaid's Tale religious hellscape, and everybody goes along with it, and we're all brainwashed, that rainbow flag will come off the beer and a giant fucking cross will go on. Like the same company will do the exact opposite thing. So I don't know why you're putting all that weight either on good. Look, the Nike stuff with Colin Kaepernick on it, standing for, or sorry, kneeling for social justice and stuff, was made by slave laborers. So these companies don't actually mean any of this stuff that they're saying. It's kind of like, I don't know one gay person who's sitting there like, yeah, Budweiser, go. Like, plenty of companies have done it before 2023. It's clearly just a marketing ploy at this point. All you're doing is helping them idiots like Kid Rock, because no one gives a shit that you have a rainbow flag on your stuff in 2023. If you'd have done it 10 years ago, yeah, that's ballsy. But like now, like I was saying, it'd be ballsier to go the other way. So nobody views you as this like pro-gay thing if you're just now doing it this year when you've been around forever, until guys like Kid Rock go shooting your fucking products, and now it's a thing.
Well, and this is what's funny is this was all over TikTok, and there were plenty of rednecks who would throw away their Bud Light and then show up, like have a video of them like taking a drink of a Coors, going, "Yep, it's Coors for me now." But this would be stitched or split screen then with someone drinking a Coors and then just sort of looking confused as they pop up all the Coors rainbow shit. And apparently, Coors has been doing it for a long time. And I don't know that they went back to 83, but apparently Coors has been deep into promoting equality for years. So you have these guys going, well, I'm drinking Coors from now on. And then the people pointing out, yeah, Coors does the same thing, showing the rainbow and mountains and rainbows, and Coors with rainbow beer. Like, okay,
right.
Marjorie Taylor Greene did it. Marjorie Taylor Greene showed a picture of her refrigerator filled with Coors and saying, I guess this is what I drink now. And then this was on Twitter, and then all the responses were Coors rainbow advertisements.
But do you know why Coors never got any positive buzz for this, or negative? Because idiots like Kid Rock weren't shooting fucking Coors
right
kids.
Yeah,
that's the only reason
no one paid attention
talking about this.
Because for years, when Coors was doing it, and I could be wrong here, they would advertise in the gay bars. Like they would, like if you own a bar, you can get a banner sent to you that says Coors sponsors Bob's Bar, and so the gay bars would get Coors with rainbows on it. And back when this was a more segregated society, when it came to straight, gay, like whatever, the only way you'd know that is if you went to a gay bar and there was no redneck that was going to go to and say, hey, I was in a gay bar and I saw Coors with this rainbow. Like, wait a second, what were you doing? Research? I wanted to make sure Coors didn't have a rainbow. And like, there was no way to know it because it was, not hidden, but they didn't take out full page ads like they all do now.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. I mean, like, I love that Kid Rock's all political now too. Yeah. Like take away the right wing shit. Even if he was saying stuff I agreed with, I wouldn't tell people that I thought a thing because Kid Rock said a thing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, listen, I think any first world country should have free health care for all of its citizens. Just ask the guy who once said, "Baw with to baw, to bang a dang, diggy, 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 to up jump the boogie."
I absolutely, and it's funny that you talk to pretty much any news source on the right, any talking head, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, they all talk about liberal Hollywood elites and how you should never listen to celebrities unless it's Kid Rock or Ted Nugent or Dean Cain, one of the good celebrities. That always makes me laugh.
Yeah, they kind of don't have a very good roster. I'm just saying. It's
Exactly.
Although, dude, I will say I watched one of the Woodstock 99 docs, and Kid Rock was less political back then, but he did give a somewhat political speech before one of his songs at Woodstock 99. He got on stage and said, Bill Clinton is a playa, and Monica Lewinsky is a hoe. So it's like it was still political, but he was actually like he sounded like a lot of Democrats on CNN back then.
Yeah. Two thoughts. Then we'll move on. One, I just stumbled across this, which I think is hilarious. I'm not going to click the article, and we don't have to get into it, but I wanted to see one more thing about the transgender beer controversy. And this headline came up: Bud Light is starting fights in bar, owner says. So that is just funny to me. So if you're in a bar and you order a Bud Light, someone might take issue and want to punch you in the face. I mean, Jesus goddamn Christ, really? Anyway, the other thought was, I have never been able to find this again. I only read it once, and it's seared into my brain that I still remember it. When you said Woodstock 99, there was an article that I have tried Googling. I have tried looking for it because it was so funny, but it was around the time of Woodstock 99, and it described the worst week in music history. And then it went down to say, like, you don't realize this, but Papa Roach and God, I can't even think of all the bands that were around back then. What was the Limp Bizkit? It showed like all these shit bands put on an album, or maybe it was 1 month in the year, but it was like right around the time of it showed like, oh, Limp Bizkit and Papa Roach.
No,
and
I remember
Cherry.
that shit. Yeah, Corn with a K.
They all put out an album within like the month of April. Is like the worst month in music history, or maybe it was the week. And then they tied it in too with like, and not only was this,
I bet it was when I was in high school.
Yeah, they said Backstreet Boys put out their first album. So it was like just this breakdown of the worst week in music history, and I thought that was a hilarious. And I've never. I
went to high school, 1998 to 2002. Fred Durst was all our generation's Paul McCartney. It was fucking awful. Hated it. Goddamn hated it. Dark time in America's history. And dude, I was listening to a Papa Roach song the other day, and I was thinking, we're too fucking hard on Nickelback. We really are, because Nickelback sucked, but they sucked in a very generic way. This shit makes me want to stab my eardrums just so I never have to worry about accidentally hearing this ever again. Like right now, in Guantanamo Bay, there is a guy being forced to listen to Limp Bizkit, and he is Tekashi 6ix9ing anybody. I would Tekashi 6ix9ine my own fucking mom to make one of those songs stop, man. I would rattle everybody.
And the funny thing about it is Limp Bizkit went on tour recently. If of all the bands to have a nostalgia tour, I get it with Backstreet Boys. You have middle-aged women to go, oh, I remember Backstreet Boys, and they go see it for fun. Of all the nostalgia acts, I would not have bet on that. And then it's not like they're playing arenas or stadiums. They're playing small rooms.
Which one? Who?
Limp Bizkit. Because Fred Durst
did MGM.
The MGM, like a residency in Vegas?
No, like Madison Square Garden.
Recently.
MGM. I meant MSG. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden. Well, there's an MGM theater in Vegas, but on their nostalgia tour?
Yeah, like a couple years ago.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They didn't sell out, but they had a lot of fucking people there. I actually lost a bet that they would sell out, because I was like, the type of people that are into that kind of music will fucking drive a long way to see it. And I think just the fact that they're doing such a big and iconic look at, I think people drive from several states. It wasn't sold out, but it was pretty close, man.
Well, there you go. All right, moving on. Let me click off that. Let me get these news stories out of the way. Get that one out of the way. Get that one out of the way. Oh, here we go. A YouTuber was making a prank video in a Virginia mall. He said the prankee took it badly and shot him. I looked into this a little bit. I have two thoughts on this. One, apparently the guy's dad got some email saying your son deserved to get shot. I agree that the kid deserved to get shot. I do not agree with going out of your way to contact the father and say it. Sure, I'll say it on a podcast, but you have to hunt this podcast down.
Right, we're not tagging the dad.
Yeah, we're not tagging the dad. Yeah. But seriously, if you are someone out there that does not like the opinions Jake and I have, great, you don't have to listen to us. But if Jake and I are up in your face doing stupid shit to you while you're just trying to get your shopping done, that is different to me. There is a difference between, I don't like what this person says, so I'm going to beat him up, and this person just smacked a pie in my face so that he could get more TikTok clicks. that guy should get beat up. So I just think it's funny. And the sad thing is he's getting all this attention now. He probably loves the attention. Like, hey, I got shot. I'm going to make a TikTok about getting shot. Like, Jesus, goddamn Christ.
What did he actually do in the prank? Because was this one where he was vomiting on people? Because I read that he sometimes does that.
Oh, well, here's the thing is I said at the beginning, like I personally across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram have 250,000 followers. Nobody writes articles about me. This one says his account, who has 40,000 subscribers or followers, like, dude, I have more than you, and you're making the news because you throw up on people. If you come up to me and prank throw up on me, yeah, but fucking you deserve to get beat up and shot in the abdomen.
Yeah, so he's doing prank throw ups on people in the mall. Okay, but he's making the news because he got shot. I think that this podcast will grow if we do a little Jesse Smollett action and I just wing you in a ski mat, like just wing you a bit, like a little, like just graze you, you know, like I'm a pretty decent
cross
shot.
The shoulder, something, not the abdomen that's going to hit vital organs, but
just kind of graze, just wing you a bit.
The dum-dum wound, the Vietnam wound, hit me in the butt, so I have to go home. But, you know, I can't.
See, that's not okay. Here's the thing about getting hit in the butt.
All right.
The exit wound could be your dick. So that's why people talk about like that, like that's an easy place to get shot. No. The exit wound could be your dick. People don't think that through.
I don't know if you read the article. The father said he intends to forgive the shooter. And the father does not deserve to get tagged in hate mail. Leave the dad alone. But the dad is going to forgive the shooter because, quote, even though this guy tried killing my son, I forgive him. I'm not offended because I serve a God, the God of the Bible, Jesus, and he instructs me how to live. And that's not to live in offense, because these are the kind of things that can happen if you're consumed with anger and offense. It's a good quote, good for him. But dude, you kind of fucked up with your son, because your son thinks that Jesus wants him to go like offend and annoy and like harm people just for clicks. So
well, the man's religious beliefs probably don't have anything to do with the fake throw up thing, right? It would be weird.
Well, I'm just saying, raise your son to be a better Christian than a kid that goes and fucking throws up on people. Well, and but the bottom of the article, despite his injury, Cook told WUSA, the reporting agency, he intends to continue making prank videos. So I guess the word is out there to the next shooter: aim higher.
Yeah, this guy learned nothing. He's gonna throw up even more. It's gonna be his thing. It's gonna be a gag. He's gonna pretend to get shot all the time.
Yeah. But still. Well,
I will say that yesterday was Easter Sunday.
Yes.
And just like the prank throw up guy's dad, I do believe that God sent his only son to save humanity from our sins, and that son was murdered 30 years ago by the FBI in Waco, Texas. I got a van full of guns and a compound in Utah. Who's with me, people? Let's recreate the real kingdom of David.
I thought you were going to say the Savior walks among us and his name is Fred Durst. That's where I thought you were going to go.
Yeah. Kid Rock is an apostle. He's Kid Rock turns urine into cheap beer. But not Bud Light, because
I did not see the Waco documentary. You did, because it's on your brain. You said I should watch it. What do you want to tell lizners about it? I mean,
dude, you got to go see it.
I remember it. Platform is tell the listeners the platform.
Netflix. They have a lady on there who's like still believes in all that shit now. Like she's still sold on it. Yeah, she's sitting there talking about how she had a grenade with her at all times, that she was going to kill her and the other women in the room with her because that's what God wanted her to do. And David Koresh was the son of God and all that stuff. And she had sex with him, and she's like, yeah, that was God. And she was like, well, he didn't molest any kids because the Bible says 12 is an adult. He didn't have sex with 12-year-old kids. He had had sex with 12-year-old grown-ups. He's God. What do you want? You know, he brought them closer to God. So, I mean, dude, she's still all in on it 30 years later. How fucking wild is that?
Oh, that's wild, because and I'm just doing this off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure one, if not two, of the Helter Skelter Charles Manson followers got released from prison within the past 5 years because they finally like, hey, I was pretty fucked up in the head on acid back then and believed some really crazy shit and did something horrific and unforgivable. And so even the Charles Manson followers got out after 30, 40 years, something like that. But yeah, if she still believes. So question then, what you said about her having a grenade, she was going to blow herself up. What is worse? Which would you rather? Which would you rather? Just take a grenade and blow yourself up, or Heaven's Gate, have to castrate yourself and then drink the Kool-Aid and put a bag on your head like they did?
Oh, dude, grenade for sure. The other one's like slow Spanish Inquisition torture porn, man. Like,
even if you fall asleep with the bag and the powdered milk and whatever the drugs, you still got to castrate yourself first. They shave their balls and put on the Nike. So yeah, grenade is the way to go.
Right, that's pretty wild. Yeah, it in retrospect, it was way less crazy than the Heaven's Gate. Well, technically not, because there was like molestation involved in the Waco thing. But dude, I just think like it shows you that reality TV has no balls, because they only follow around people that are kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills. I'll get in your face and get
Flavor Flav. Flavor of Love. Yeah, they follow around crazy, but not insane crazy. Like,
this lady has still been believing in the Branch Davidian stuff for the last 30 years, and there hasn't been a camera on her till now. Why? I want someone filming her around. How crazy a life is it? She's just walking by crucifixes going, that's not the real guy. Nah, real one came back in the 90s. He was murdered by the FBI. Update your fucking cross, dummy. And she just fucking getting in people's face like, oh, you think you're going to that building and praying to God, huh? I blew God back in the summer of 1992. You got nothing on me. You got nothing on me. I know what makes God come, not that stupid song.
I got into a back and forth with someone on YouTube recently involving transgender backgrounds. I think it was. I don't know. They put something out. They put a comment on my page about the Bible being the word of God, and I commented like, "Well, the Bible was written by men," and they responded, "No, the Bible was written by men inspired by God, preaching the word of God." And so my comeback was, okay, kind of like the Book of Mormon and how Joseph Smith was inspired by God and the angel Moroni and wrote, and then silence, silence. It's like, yeah, you can say your book is inspired by the word of God. So does that guy. So does that religion. So does that religion. So every religion says, no, our book is. I mean, when it goes to the Shia and the what's the other one? Sunni. Yeah. I mean, they split just because, like, oh, after the Prophet Muhammad passed, who is the next prophet? They can't even agree on that. Everyone says they are correct. Who is correct? I don't know. So
yeah. Every religious person is convinced they found the right God, and also convinced, because it's mostly monotheist now, they're all convinced that all the other people, all the other hundreds of religions and denominations, God, that they're all superstition. And you know what? They're all right. Every one of them is correct.
We talked about this once. There I remember you and I talking about this, the war in Yemen. And if I remember it correctly, because I have not, Saudi Arabia was involved, and then two factions within Yemen. And we watched a documentary where all three factions, both the Saudi Arabian side and the rebel side and the Yemeni government, all at one point, someone representing their side said, well, we're going to win because God is on our side. We are on the side of God. God is on our side. And if you watch the documentary, you kind of want to show it to all three of them and say, all right, so God is on all three sides. Now what? Because they all claimed that they had the reason they were going to win was, it's like, yeah, that's not how it works. Although I did see a TikTok
God's
by
selling guns to all three sides. He's an arms dealer.
I did see a TikTok where someone asked that question. It was one of those split screens where they had like 5-6 responses, and there was a woman saying, okay, saying what you just did. Okay, seriously, throughout all of time, you're telling me that your religion is the one true religion and got it right. And then all the responses go, yep. And then they take a casual drink of whatever they're drinking, like they're so confident.
And then they spit it out because they're like, was this Bud Light? No, it's Pro Trans. Oh, my God, hates that shit.
Exactly. But I just thought it was so funny. Like, okay, it's good you have that belief, but you're not right.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
Or everyone's right. We're all right. All right.
If anything, I almost respect the Hindus a little more, because they're like, let all the gods in. Fuck it.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right. I thought this was funny. Biden review of chaotic Afghanistan withdrawal blames Trump. My mind is blown. Jake, who thought that the Biden administration would blame the previous administration for something they did?
Yeah, that sounds like something Trump would say. He should fucking clean up his answer.
I mean, here's the other part. Like when the Afghani withdrawal happened and it was shit, that was several years ago. Why are you bringing it up again just to get it in the news? Because all you're going to do is fire up Republicans who are going to say, no, Biden, you did it. All you got to do is like, wow, that kind of sucked. Let's just let it fade. And if you need the so-called report on file for the next time Republicans bring it up, then you bring it up and say, no, our report says it was Trump's fault. And then you just have both sides yapping at one another. Why bring it up out of the blue for no reason just to blame the other guy? I thought that was a bit silly.
It is. I mean, I get investigating it like on the military side,
right.
Like, hey, what the fuck happened? How could we do better? But yeah, well, he can't give the real answer to why that was a shit show.
It's classified. Yeah.
My previous guy fucking said he was going to pull out, didn't do much. I had to do it quick because I knew it was going to be such a fucking shit show that I did not want it happening within 2 years of the real election.
Right.
Like that. That is the real reason. That is the real reason. Sidebar, none of you fuckers have voted for any of the last presidents based on our foreign policy expertise whatsoever. You don't care anything foreign policy wise. None of you fuckers care. We've been in that war for 20 years, and for the last couple administrations, the only time it hit the news was when they were talking about don't ask, don't tell, and trans soldiers and stuff like that. But like, there was never any talk on mainstream news outlets about, hey, what's the end state? What the fuck are we doing here? How are we going to leave? How are what we are doing?
Not until the shit hit the fan.
Never heard that fucking talk until we pulled out. There was people hanging off planes, and then all those people who during the previous 4 years, they only cared about whether or not trans people could go join the endless fucking war. You know, you had one side was pro-trans people in the endless corporate war. The other side was against trans people in the endless corporate war. See, we're opposites. Now you're kind of the same. They then became fucking foreign policy and military experts overnight. And you know what? If you only cared about whether or not trans people were joining the endless corporate war during the previous 4 years, kind of didn't care what your opinion was when there was people hanging off fucking planes.
Good goddamn point.
But he can't say all that.
No. Why would
Because it kind of sounds like shit.
All right. Final story. And the only reason I sent you this is because I accidentally stumbled across the tweets before the news article was written. So I was saying, I actually tweeted. When I say I tweeted back, I know no one is reading my tweets. I am not saying like I tweeted this guy. I just did it because I think it's silly. Scott Walker was on Twitter, and he's talking about how a liberal judge just got elected to the Supreme Court. It was a fight between a judge who said abortion is a woman's right. We need to stop the right wing from ending abortion like they're doing in all these red states. And she won, not by a point or two. Wisconsin is a purple state that the presidency flips by 1 or 2 points. She won by 10 or 11%. Like she curb stomped over 11%. And the Republican who said abortion's bad, she turned it into the issue. So Scott Walker's tweeting, we need to, the problem with Wisconsin is young people. They're voting Democrat, and that part is correct. But then the second part is hilarious. He says, we need to stop them from being indoctrinated by liberal policies. He doesn't say maybe we should stop being assholes. Maybe kids are concerned about getting shot in school. Maybe abortion is healthcare. No. He says, because it says, Scott Walker blames young voters for GOP losses in Wisconsin, but offers few solutions for winning them back. Byline, the former governor blamed, quote, radical indoctrination, but didn't mention Republican policies. So he keeps tweeting out, young people aren't voting for us. God damn them, they're wrong. We need to tell them you need to vote for anti-women, anti-trans. Like, he offers no policies other than young people are wrong.
Let's not worry about changing our policy. Let's not worry about marketing. Don't get a TikTok account to try to reach out to young people. Let's ban TikTok. That's what young people will like if we ban TikTok.
And that's what Dems should run on next year is, hey, the problem is Dems are for banning TikTok too. Maybe not as many, but yeah, it's just funny that is the takeaway. Hey, these people think I'm an asshole. I shouldn't be less of an asshole. They should vote for an asshole. Like, what?
Right. It's they're being indoctrinated with all their books.
Want democracy and the attempt to overturn the election, climate change, gun control. It's breaking down everything young people find important that Republicans are, climate change, who cares? Guns.
Well, and then these motherfuckers try to like ban books from schools and shit. And it's like, hey man, you know, when they are going to get to read all those books that talk about, racial stuff, LGBTQ stuff, is when they turn 18. You know what else they can do? Vote. You know what I would do if I knew that you weren't letting me read books about Nelson Mandela or anybody that was gay or anything problematic with American history? Once I found that, I would be like, what the fuck, man? See, I used to think less about that shit, because I lived in a pretty progressive, like Iowa City is pretty progressive. They did not whitewash any kind of history shit. I think I watched in school Roots in its entirety of like 3 fucking times. Like they really hammered that shit home. And so because you teach that shit because it was part of America's past. It was a terrible thing, but it's where it should be in the past, as long as you're teaching that. If you don't teach it and then they fucking see all that shit when they turn 18, they're like, oh, that's not in the past at all. That's still fucking real. That's why they don't want to show it to us. And so it's going to have the opposite effect of what you think you're doing right now with the book ban stuff.
It is exactly like porn back in the day. Before porn was on every phone, it was mysterious and you couldn't wait to see it. Like, you saw Adult Superstore and you wanted to go there, and you found the hustler in the tree stump in the woods, you know, like in the clearing, and you're like, oh, it was exciting. Now porn's everywhere. Same with drinking. France, you can drink wine at age 14, so there's not huge alcoholism. Here, binge drinking once you get to college because, hey, freedom, college, now I'm going to binge drink. You're treating information like alcohol. And kids, if you try and it's like anything. Kids loved Facebook until their mom and dad got on it, so they jumped to Snapchat. You tell kids that information is important and they need to learn, kids are going to go, fuck that, I don't want to learn shit. But you hide it from them, they're going to be like, well, what's this shit you're hiding from me? You hide something, people are curious about it.
Well, right. And here's the thing. What you're trying to do might have worked better maybe 20 years ago before they had phones. All they have to do is Google what's this book they don't want me to read. It'll show up on their phone. Also, here's another thing they can do with their phone. Gangbang porn with, I don't know, with or without trans people. Go, like they can get all the, like, so this whole, I'm going to take out books that mention any of this shit to somehow keep the kids more pure. If you could look at the fucking search history on any of the kids' phones that you're trying to, fucking shield from this, they're looking at such crazy years. They can get ISIS beheadings on their phone if they want. Like, it's fucking wild.
We got to go. But like you put it in the school library, kids are going to ignore it. You say, I'm taking it out of the library, they're going to Google it. All right. Look for Jake on all the socials at Jake Vevra, and look for me at nathantimmel.com. And as I said up front, if you had a chance to write a review because you found us amusing, awesome. If you had a chance to write a review because you hate us, put it on Alex Jones InfoWars podcast. All right. Thanks.
Later.